comes with his chef's hat.
Me, Lamps, Ida, Carlo, and Ranieri's like, oh, hello. he wasn't happy at all. Mourinho called me and was like, JT, I'm coming back. We're going back and we're going to win the league. Yeah, so it's actually quite emotional. Give me a bill. And it just sobered me up instantly, and I was like, well, I didn't agree to this. I have to say, I was on the pitch pretty quick.
Yeah.
I had my shin pads on, my boots.
Congratulations.
There we go.
Where are we putting him?
One more than Spurs again.
Well, I didn't think that the first episode of my YouTube series would be stood in John Terry's kitchen and with the man himself. John, this is an unbelievable kitchen. You must be able to rustle up some pretty decent food in here.
I'm okay, I'm not too bad. It's normally my wife who's the better cook, but I do like my kind of pre-match night before the game meal.
Well, that's exactly what I've tasked you with today. Cooking what you would have cooked before a game. So what are we having?
Really simple, nothing too complex. So I was chicken breast, 2 chicken breasts, and for the protein, carbs, obviously pasta.
Yeah.
Al dente, it has to be al dente, with a little bit of kind of spicy tomato sauce. So really basic, but I was very particular as a player. I had to have the same food, whether I was at home or in a hotel, kind of every night before the game.
Well, as head chef, I have got you something to
There we go.
Little chef's hat.
I feel like you're tucking me up here, that's out of order.
So just humour me and wear it for like 5 minutes.
All right, we'll stick it on.
And as your sous chef, I've got myself a little apron.
Yeah.
Also, we'll only be wearing this for a short amount of time.
And I've definitely been given the short straw there.
No, it looks great.
Yeah. So first job I'm going to task you with is, and I'm really particular, is you see the white fat on the outside of the chicken?
It's got to go.
It has to go.
Yeah.
Like every little bit. So strip it down as much as you can, and I'll be working on the pasta.
Perfect. Working on the pasta.
Actually, before we start, there's always, so these zero tablets, no advertisement involved at all, but really important just to get the electrolytes on board night before the game. So I've got you one, and
0 sugar, 0 carbs.
Zero sugar. So just bear with me. I'm just going to get some water while you're still talking.
Okay. A lot of footballers have chefs that come into the house and cook breakfast, lunch and dinner for them. Did you cook this yourself before a game day, or did you have some help in the kitchen? There he comes with his chef's hat.
That's coming off in a minute. That I can't believe I've been stitched up. Obviously very fortunate. I did have a chef full time at the house, which is quite important, I think, for the modern day players to, food and nutrition and sleep is quite big. But night before the game had to be me.
This knife is way too big. I can't be working with this.
Okay. Do you want to do the pasta?
Yeah, I'll do the
Okay.
pasta. So I'll just boil the water.
Just boil the water. A little bit of salt.
Little bit? That's enough to be hard.
I will do the chicken. Actually, I'm quite pleased with that because I'm so particular. I'm pretty much left with no chicken after.
You said 2 chicken breasts, but is that because I'm here as well, or would you naturally have 2 chicken breasts?
I would have had 2. I'm happy to share my chicken breast with you tonight because there's no game tomorrow, but
that's not all coming off, is it?
Yeah, that's all coming off, yeah. So all of that, I would maybe trim that down. But that would be the dog's food for the night.
You're joking me, that's half the chicken. Footballers don't get loads of time to cook and know how to do it, but you obviously seem quite adequate in the kitchen. How did you get into cooking?
I'm okay. When I was 16, obviously signed for Chelsea, moved away from home, and I was in digs with a family. And I just wanted to kind of learn how to cook. So we had chefs at the training ground that were giving us lessons and stuff as kind of young players. Because when you're in digs, it's quite easy to go. We had a McDonald's pretty close to us at the training ground. It's quite nice, that, isn't it?
Wow, that's not bad, that.
Yeah. We had a McDonald's that was pretty close to us by the training ground. And if not, you just end up finding yourself heading towards the McDonald's.
And you can't be admitting that surely to any of the managers.
No, well, we got caught, funny enough, by Ranieri. So back in the day, when we used to train at Harlington, we had Wednesdays, we had to be out early. And Jody Morris, sorry mate, we used to go to McDonald's and he'd come through the window. So it was his turn to get to McDonald's. He was literally climbing through a little box window, has his halfway down the window. Ranieri's literally opened the door and there's me, Lamps, Ida, Carlo, and Ranieri's like, oh, hello. He wasn't happy at all. It was a good thing really, because eventually Roman took over and he ended up making sure we had our own facilities and own chefs in the building.
Yeah, proper good chefs.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Getting on to what the show's all about. Ideally, we want to get to know you as John George Terry rather than just captain, leader, legend.
Yeah.
But I can't ignore the fact that I am stood in one of Chelsea's greatest ever players' kitchen, and obviously their most successful captain ever. So just tell me, what was it like to captain Chelsea, and what was the best thing about it?
Just a dream, really. Like I'd been there when I was like 14 and coming through the ranks, obviously. I had some big clubs after me at the time, Man United, Arsenal and West Ham. And the moment I walked into Chelsea, I knew it was the right club for me. I had a big kind of debate with my dad and my family at the time as well. He wanted me to sign for Man United. But I just knew from the first training session and the first moment I walked into the club, it was for me. So when you've been there that long, you've pretty much done everything. You know, you've cleaned toilets at the training ground, you've washed players' kit, washed the dressing rooms, painted the stadium. I've pretty much done everything at the football club. So to be able to go on and captain the club that I dreamed of captaining was an incredible achievement, especially for someone so young as well.
The first time that you actually led the Blues out was a couple of days before your 21st birthday. What was it like finding out that you were about to lead the Blues out onto the pitch?
Franco, Wisey, Graham Lasso, Kevin Hitchcock, they were all the older generation kind of playing at Chelsea then. They'd been told their contracts were finishing, the club were moving in a different direction. And between them all, they could see something in me. And they went to Ranieri and said, listen, JT is the future of the club, which is like really nice for me. And said, while we're here, make JT captain and we'll support him and guide him. Not a lot of people know that, but for me as a young player, it wasn't intimidating having those guys around. I was captaining them. They were helping, supporting both on the pitch and off the pitch. So for someone so young to have those guys there for 6 months being captain was incredible. We didn't get off to the best of starts as me being captain. We lost to Charlton 1-0, but just to have those guys around and tap into them kind of for the 6 months was incredible.
Wait, I'm just going to have to stop you for 2 seconds. Did you season the chicken at all? No.
No, no seasoning, just plain seasoning it. Yeah.
Okay, before we get on to the next question, I know I'm on pasta duty, so...
Yeah, so 2 small handfuls.
Small handfuls.
Small handfuls.
You're cooking for me as well?
Yeah, it's us,
okay.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
so one small handful each?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so not too much. And you've washed, just to be clear, we've washed our hands and we're all good. I can't believe I've still got my hat on, by the way. Yeah, we need a bigger one than that, yeah. No, just 2. 2 would be fine, because 3 is an odd number and then let's not even get into that.
Enough?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Not much on the carbs.
Really important. Al dente is like, you got to keep.
So how long is it going on for?
We'll kind of test and we'll as we go. Yeah.
Right, okay. So you try one piece at a time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you're like,
then we're left with nothing
because there's no pasta in there to start with.
Excuse me, I'm on chicken duty. So just going to put that in for 8 minutes, just on.
Okay. Oh, with the pan in there as well.
Oh yeah, with the pan, yeah.
Let's talk about that spine of Chelsea when you were there. Obviously, Cech, you, Lampard, Drogba. Do you think that was the strongest spine of any team in Europe?
I think so at the time. Big personalities. Like Peter was captain of the Czech Republic. I was captain of England. Frank was kind of vice captain at Chelsea and a big personality and a fantastic player. Didier was captain of the Ivory Coast, and so we had the spine was 4 big characters and big captains within it, and we all pretty much played every week as well. That was important. So the manager knew that he had a spine in the team that were very consistent performance-wise, but also never picked up too many injuries as well along the way. And when we did, we had enough cover there as well within ourselves that Frank would step up as captain and Didier would step in and Pete would have his say and all of that. So we were very lucky and very blessed.
Were you just lucky with like not having so many injuries, or was there something that you all did specifically to kind of minimise the chance of picking anything up?
I think it's little bits. We spoke about the small bits, the little 5-10%, like the chef and how you look after yourself, the sleep. It all started to come into our game as that 04-05 when Mourinho took over. I think the biggest thing for our generation was we played and trained every single day like it was a World Cup final. It meant the world to us, If we lost the game, players would fall out, we'd argue, we'd be upset with each other, you wouldn't talk to each other for a couple of days. And the level of training was here every single day. So when we went into those games on a Saturday, we were probably one of the best sides in the world at the time. So the games on a Saturday, no disrespect to a lot of the teams at the time, we were probably underperforming on a Saturday what our training levels were. But because our levels were so high during the week, both physically and mentally, coming into those games, we never picked up injuries because we performed at that level 6-7 days a week. So I think that's the key to it now. I think you need to perform 100% every single day. And if you pick up an injury, you pick up an injury.
In terms of you personally, I said it to you earlier, like best defender in the world, and it's weird saying it to you. But you would have been told it time and time again that you are one of the best defenders in the world. Did you personally ever feel like that's what you were? And if so, how did that feel knowing that? You don't need to be modest, we're all friends here.
You obviously dream of it, but even to be amongst some of the names that you kind of spoken about, and everyone will have their different opinion and everything, but just to be nominated amongst all of those is incredible for me. You know, the boy from Barking, come from nothing and achieve what I've achieved. I'm obviously very proud, and to do it in a Chelsea shirt means the world to me. Did I ever think I'd get there? Probably not until Mourinho arrived, and kind of the level of confidence he'd give me, it made me feel like I was the best player in the world, the best defender in the world. He told me that on a daily basis. He also told me I was shit when I was shit, which is good. I think we all need to kick up the backside at the right time as well, and he was very good for me. So I owe a lot of my success to Jose Mourinho.
What was he like? What was it like working under him? And what was your relationship personally like with him?
Jose was the best. Like, when he first arrived, the level of training we were doing was just incredible. And to see him kind of, you know, I used to get in pretty early as captain. I like to be first in. And I remember the first day I come in, he was already in, the training was set up, we were ready to go. And it was that first training session, we went out and the session just flowed so well. He made a point of saying to us, we're training for 60 minutes, make sure that we're all trained at a top level every single day. But we went from one exercise to another, and in between that was, you know, your drinks and all of those bits. You'd pick up your drink and he'd write, no kicking the balls about, and your bibs would be there, you'd move into the next bit, and it flowed so well, but the intensity was so high. We'd just never seen anything like it. So we got the respect instantly from the players. Obviously the press conference, everyone's a little bit scared of the special one and everything else, but he was an incredible manager, both on the pitch and mentally as well, what he'd give us off it.
He obviously in his second stint came back and gave you another chance that you obviously so clearly deserved and was the right thing to do. What was that like when he came back in?
I don't know if people remember the year before, Benitez was in charge, and he actually tried to get me out of the football club at the time. So Rafa tried to tell the owners that I couldn't play 2 games a week, and I had 1 year left on my contract. I was finished. And I remember getting a phone call. I was in Portugal at the time, and Mourinho called me and was like, JT, I'm coming back. And I was like, it was just goosebumps. And he went, they've all been telling me that you're finished. And he said, you're my captain, and we're going back and we're going to win the league. Yeah, so it's actually quite emotional. But when he said it to me, I was like, wow, that's powerful. It's me and you against the world again. Let's go again, because that was the mentality he brought before. And I remember we had a bottle of wine, me and my wife, and I was like, I'm not drinking. Yeah, it was. Yeah. And that we were halfway through. I was like, I'm not drinking. That's it. I woke up the following day, and for the rest of my holiday, for the next 10 days, I was doing running morning, afternoon, and night. And I went back so fit. We won the league, and I played every minute of every game. So it was pretty special, and a big kind of 2 fingers up to a lot of people at the time, because I was written off. And that man believed in me more than anyone.
Yeah, probably 2 things up to one specific person. But talking about the other managers, how did the relationship with Jose compare to those other managers? And are there any stories that you can tell us about any of them?
Well, Carlo was excellent. We all love Carlo. He was a great man manager, a great coach, and we obviously done the double. We had a lot of success under him. And actually quite a kind of sad but good story, when he got sacked at Everton. We were like, we love Carlo. We went to the front of the bus, and it was down to us. We wasn't playing well at the time as well, so the players felt responsibility for it. And we went to the bus and said, come on, we're going to take you out in London.
Was that your idea?
Well, it's kind of, I'll take credit for it. It was kind of a group, and like, it just showed that everyone loved him so much, because we got back to Cobham, everyone went back to their houses, got changed. Carlo turned up, Paul Clement, and we had a really good night where everyone was kind of drinking, and we let our hair down. And it was like a really special night with a manager that, like I said, I'd never done it before with any other managers. It was just the relationship we had with Carlo, the respect we had. And we just wanted to kind of celebrate what he'd kind of done for us at the time as well. But really sad to see him go, because he had so much more to give. Do
you find out, like, along with everyone else, that a manager's been sacked? Or like seeing that message while he's at the front of the bus, like, what was that like? Yeah,
it's weird, because you obviously hear rumbles if you're under pressure and not winning games. But at the same time, we're coming back and he gets sacked. So you go up the front of the bus and go, it's us. Like, you take the brunt of it, but it's us. We feel responsible. And even though it was really sad for them, the fact that he probably didn't want to come out, but I think because the players asked him to come, he ended up coming, and we had a really good night. Pasta. Before we kick on, let's You check the pasta, I'm going to check the chicken quickly.
Okay. The thing is, I'm going to think it's not done because I don't like al dente pasta.
Do you not?
No.
Or you don't tell me you like soggy pasta.
That's exactly what I like, actually. I know, that's good.
Is that good, yeah?
I think you'll be happy with that.
Okay, well the chicken's good as well, so we
Should we turn that down then?
can probably turn that off actually.
You got a sieve?
Are you testing me now?
You're joking me. You're giving it all the chat about.
Wait a second, wait. Well, I'm not playing anymore, am I? So I'm like, yeah, that's really bad.
No.
Right.
Okay, well you're gonna have to.
You're in charge of pasta, so that's actually quite bad.
That is awful.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, you found it. Full of the wine glasses, and you don't even know the siblings there.
Is that right? That one. That'll do.
That is perfect. Right.
That would have been quite bad if I didn't find it.
No, that would have been pretty abysmal. Right. Well, before we put the whole meal together, and while the pasta's cooling a little bit, because it is really warm, I passed a room on the way in here that epitomises just how good you were, and as we said, still are, given the recent game that you played in. 26-minute goal, what the hell? Bizarre. Can we go and take a look?
Of course we can,
Yeah?
Cool. Can I take the hat off though?
You can take the hat off, and I'm going to take it. Some room this is. I mean, I've actually never seen anything like it, obviously, because I've never been in John Terry's trophy room before, but it's incredible. And one that we've got right behind us, 2012 Champions League trophy. And you were fundamental in that journey to the final, but then you missed out due to suspension and actually playing in it. What was it like to miss that?
I was still really nervous, even though I didn't play. Still the best night in the club's history for sure, without a doubt. And not playing was worse than probably playing. I think you would have had nerves before playing, and once you get on the pitch, you're fine. It's actually sitting there for the 90 odd minutes. It was like every kind of ball, every tackle, you kind of live every moment as well. And then again, you experience what the fans experience as well. So you're on the edge of your seat, then you're thinking, oh, we've got no chance here. Then all of a sudden Didier scores again and we're back in it. They missed the penalty. Just an amazing night that we worked so hard for. I think it's the toughest trophy to win by a long way. And probably the year we won it in 2012 was probably the year we didn't deserve to win it. I look back in, 09, 10, 5, 6, 4, 5 maybe, that we were a far better team in my opinion. But just that little bit of luck, 2008 obviously where I missed the pen. So just great memories, and it's something that not many people get to achieve, so it sits front and centre.
Pride of place with a couple of the boots. You're missing one pair with the famous 3-boot superstition, but pretty cool setup. Did you design it yourself?
Yeah, I designed it all myself, and I used to have like all my shirts and everything. So I've still got all my shirts, but I don't have them up. I've just kind of restricted it back to trophies. But it's my office. It's coming here. I do my work in here, and it's a good place to come and reflect. Yeah,
memories, and ones that most of the world also can't forget because of that viral you getting changed into your kit post-match in the game. Did you expect to get such a reaction from that?
No, I did. I definitely wasn't the only one either. I've just taken the brunt of the stick for sure. There was I remember Ivanovic on the crossbar and other players who didn't participate in the game was probably worse than me that night, but I'll take it. It's a night that I'll never forget. I have to say, I was on the pitch pretty quick. Yeah. I had my shin pads on, my boots. And
Why did you go your shin pads?
Well, literally because UEFA told us that they want all the players in kit and everything. So everyone looks the same and it's good for the pictures and everything. But I probably took it a little bit extreme with the shin pads and the boots. But I think it's when Didier scored the penalty, I just remember running on and taking my jacket off as I'm halfway, because you want people to look back and go, oh, he must have played.
Which they do.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely played in the game. That's what I tell the kids anyway. But it's a special night. I'm gutted I didn't play in the final, obviously, but the main thing is we won it.
Something that I've heard, and I don't know if it's definitely true because it's not in this room now, but rumour has it that you had that 2008 shirt framed up in your trophy room before, just as a reminder of how much you wanted to win. Is that true?
Yeah, I did have, like I said, many years ago, I had a bigger room and shirts up. And that was one, so I had all my successes up, but that was the one big failure that I'd kind of experienced. And obviously I missed the pen, but I kind of kept it up just to kind of reflect every time I went in and going, no, that's the trophy we want. And I think if we didn't win it in 2012, I would never have been at ease with myself as a player and captain of the club that we worked so hard to achieve. So this trophy and that night is something that will be remembered forever.
Etched into your memory.
Yeah.
Out of all of the trophies here, I know this is obviously your favourite one, but which other one gives you the best memories?
Well, I think that the Premier League, when we beat Bolton in Mourinho's first year, will always be special to any Chelsea supporter, 50 years since we previously won it. So those moments, I mean, you still see the champagne bottles, a couple empty and a couple.
You've also got all of these. That's
I was
crazy.
a nightmare for keeping stuff like. I've got every armband, literally most shirts I played in, obviously my England caps, the personal trophies and all of that. You got the PFA awards there. So in 2005 when I won that, and again the reasoning for that is every player in the Premier League votes. And not many defenders win it because it's normally the strikers that go.
First season of being captain.
Yeah. So it was pretty special and just one of those personal accolades that not many people win as a defender. So I'm very proud to kind of see that one there.
What is your fondest memory from a game? Maybe it be a game, maybe it be a goal or a personal achievement. What is the one unforgettable moment?
It would be Champions League 2012. The celebrations after. The kind of relief and all of that. It was a late night. We kind of flew home the following morning, most of us still drunk.
Yeah.
We come back and celebrate with the fans. We'd obviously done the bus parade, and it's moments like that where you do work, whether it's all season or a Champions League or an FA Cup run, you kind of work all season or all year for that one trophy, and when you finally get over the line, it's great. So those moments and memories and the journeys along the way as well, there's like, I look back at nights out when we beat Barcelona and I scored the goal. The famous Ronaldinho goal. That night when I scored that and we went through, probably beat one of the best teams in the world at the time. That night, like everyone was out in London, we were celebrating. It was a big achievement for us. I'd scored the goal, I was buzzing. So that was a good night that you kind of remember. It's all of those bits, the memories with the players that you kind of miss when you retire.
Talking about teammates, dressing room, what is the one funniest memory, funniest moment that you can think of with the guys or in the dressing room?
God, probably none I could say on here actually. Yeah, 2X-rated, but so we had big personalities in the dressing room at the time.
Yeah.
Like even a small one, we went to LA one year pre-season, and pre-season's always a good time to kind of get to know new players that have arrived and signed. So Mourinho's first year, so we all sneaked out the back of the hotel. We went out and had a night out, and you see players at 2 o'clock in the morning that you don't see at 10 o'clock in the morning on the training pitch, and you bond. And from that moment when we was out, it sounds funny, but that trip in LA, when you see players in a different light, you go, yeah, they'll do for me, and we're gonna do well this year. Even Jose, so at the end of the trip, Mourinho give us a night out, give us a curfew at 12 o'clock. And he said to me, he said, I know what's going to happen. You're going to phone me at 11:30, 11:45 and say, can we stay out a little bit longer? He knew exactly what was going to happen, right? After a few drinks, the players never want to keep going. So he said, call me and I'll let you stay out, but let's keep it between me and you. So all the players there, phone the manager, let's get another few hours. I'm like, I've got no chance. It's our first year.
Knowing that you did.
Yeah, knowing full well. So I phone him, we're all in the bar, and you call him like, boss, can we stay out till 2, 3? He was like, you're breaking my ball. Yeah, okay. And this bar's just erupted. All the lads are like that, yeah. But again, it's like memories like that and moments like that Mourinho was so good, pure class, understood the players. We'd had a good 10 days in LA. We worked hard. We needed and deserved a night out, and he'd give us that. And again, like I say, you see people at 2 a.m. on the tables dancing. It's what it's all about.
Well, as someone that has won everything that there is for you to win, that you could get your hands on, there's a lot of players in the Premier League now that are also in that same situation, but they're so young, especially those City players. How do you keep that winning mentality? What are you working for? What keeps you hungry once you have won everything?
Well, I think you have to recognise how difficult it is to win a Premier League or Champions League, whatever that may be, especially with Man City around at the moment that are dominating. But I think when you see that group of players, you can see the hunger year after year. And also when you have a top manager kind of pushing. I remember when we first won it under Mourinho, we come back and around the training ground was all these pictures of us winning the trophy, and we come back very relaxed the first day of pre-season. He kind of like took all the photos down and we're like, no, it's a new season, we go again. We have to forget last year, it'll be remembered forever, but we have to forget it and we move on. That was a big wake-up call for us. And they are difficult to win year after year. It's why not a lot of clubs do it. So it's a short career, and I think players realise that. So that hunger has to be there, and we certainly had that within our group.
I know the first is probably always going to be the most special, but do you still feel that feeling every time you won a fair few Premier Leagues?
Yeah, I think it would always be special, that first one, away to Bolton, but you know, we went 2-3 years without winning it. So when you see other teams winning it, it hurts. So like I say, you give everything all year and you come back and you see other teams celebrating with a trophy and the pitch and the parades after, and it probably burns in your stomach. And I think you look at that and go, no, next year we have to go again. And you kind of get back and drive and push the group again as much as you can. So it's important to have that. And like I say, we have big characters that were behind me and backing me as well, doing the same.
Can we hold the previous one before I go?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not this one. I'm not
No, not that one. You can hold it. It's actually really heavy.
I can't wait. You ready?
Yeah.
You put it back, I can't.
Yeah, I've just got to be careful with my new trophy.
Right, let's go back for some food.
Go on, let's go.
Okay, back in the kitchen. I'm actually starving. We've got the chicken that you're dishing out right now. Obviously not much of it because you cut most of it off.
It actually looks even slimmer now, doesn't it, now it's cooked?
This.
No, there's a bit more to go in there as well.
No wonder footballers stay so trim if that's what we're working with.
Night before the game, you've got to be lean.
Okay.
Little bit of, it's bad, but kind of ready-made sauce.
Yeah.
But I don't like too much, so.
Something that made me really, really crack up with you recently, end of last season, was Liverpool Away.
Yeah.
You going and actually sitting in the away ends with the fans. What was that all about? They're not really sous chefing very well, yeah?
No, you're not actually, no. So I'd always said to myself that when I finish, I want to go and experience what the fans experience. Because when you're playing, you're on the bus, you leave the hotel, arrive at the stadium, you drive past the supporters, etc. And a group of friends of mine just went, let's do Liverpool Away. I really enjoyed it. It was a great experience. But we went to a pub before, I had a couple of beers. Just to be with the supporters was great as well, because you forget you give kind of so much, and the love they showed me on the day, we was like singing together and all of that.
In amongst them while they were singing John Terry's Won the Double song.
Yeah.
That must have been crazy.
Pretty special, but you know, I've had a lot of messages from supporters saying we got loads from that. But for me, reiterates kind of how much I'm respected at the football club, and for me that goes like a long way.
As well, when you were wearing your little Peaky Blinder hat, I was like,
Well,
I don't know if he's trying to be camouflaged here or...
I was in Liverpool, let's not forget that. I was welcomed by the Chelsea supporters, but I'm not sure I would have been welcomed by the Liverpool supporters.
No,
but it was pretty cold that day. I had like a mask as well. You could just see my eyes, but going into the stadium. But when we come out, obviously I was singing with the Chelsea supporters and everything. And then when we come out, it was quite hectic. Yeah. And there was everyone there, Liverpool supporters are there. And there was like a little entrance and there was all police. And I was like, mate, it's John Terry, you're going to have to let me through here because this is going to be... And he was like, no. And I went, mate, it's me. And he went, I'll come through. And they looked after me, to be fair. I could have been in trouble with the Liverpool supporters, I think.
Yeah, that would have been rough.
Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
There's a lot of things like that you couldn't do, obviously, as a player, and players now can't do. Was there anything specific from when you were younger that you wish that you could have done that you didn't?
Not from my younger days, definitely not, because it was a sacrifice I made. Like, all my mates were going out partying and doing drugs. And so from that side of it, no. I just think it's nice now that I go, if I want a glass of wine on a Friday night, I can have a glass of wine. If I want to go for dinner or go for, a few drinks on a Saturday night, I can do so, or after golf. But you don't feel like you've missed out massively on anything that you could have done, like going clubbing with your mates? Or... No, I've definitely made up for that since retirement. So players now, they get scrutinised for doing things, scrutinised if they don't do things. Is there anything from back then that you regret or wish that you'd done differently? That's a really good question. You know what? Probably from my early days as captaincy, when I look back when we had Kevin De Bruyne and Mo Salah at the football club, actually. At the time, did they show what they are today? No, they didn't. They clearly didn't. But I just think as captain, I could have maybe done a little bit more for them to maybe give them the support. So I look at it was definitely a learning curve, because later on in my career in captaincy, I would have definitely pulled the players and spoke to them, or gone and had a coffee with them, or gone to their house and seen them. It's a real tough balance, because at the time we was one of the best teams in the world and had some of the best players in their positions, and they wasn't able to get in the team, and that was that. They moved on. Did you personally see, could you see how good they were going to be, or do you feel like you missed that? No, I missed it completely, and I don't know whether because I was fully focused on myself and the players that were playing at the time. Like I said, we were winning leagues, we were winning cups, and they were kind of part of the squad, but they wasn't even kind of making the bench at times, But I feel like the club missed something, I missed something as captain, and I feel like I let us down a little bit. And I think more importantly, let those two guys down. So if they're watching, I do apologise.
One decision that I know you won't regret and don't regret is joining Chelsea. But you did touch on it earlier. It wasn't as plain sailing as people might think, because your dad didn't actually want you to join Chelsea, did he?
No, my dad was a big Man United fan growing up, like George Best era and all of that. And I'd spent 2 years at Man United and Chelsea at the same time. It was between the two clubs who I was going to sign for. And funny enough, I used to travel up to Manchester with David Beckham. So he'd be in the front of the car and I'd be in the back, and we'd drive up every kind of half term and spend 2 weeks there, and then we'd come back. And I have to say, Man United and Sir Alex Ferguson was incredible. Like, Sir Alex Ferguson used to phone my house during the week, making sure I was working hard at school, how my football was doing. So Man United done everything they could. And then when I said to my dad, I'm signing for Chelsea, we had the big signing day. I think there's a picture of me, Graham Ricks, and my mum on the pitch. And the reason my dad's not in the picture is because we were playing Liverpool at home, and I was due to go out at half time. And we get in the tunnel, and my dad said, "You're not signing." And I'm like, the players and Glenn Hoddle were coming down the tunnel here, all the Liverpool players, the Chelsea players. And my dad said to Glenn and Gwyn Williams, "I want a meeting, I want to meet you." So Glenn Hoddle met my dad at half time. So he's got a half time team talk, and Glenn's going, "We want John to stay."
Yeah.
Really bizarre. My dad said he's not staying. And whilst he was in there, I said to my mum, "I'm signing at Chelsea, that's it." And you needed an adult to sign on the pitch with you. And my mum said, "Well, I'll do it." So you see me kind of crying, it's all kicking off in the tunnel, and we're having murders with my dad. And I went out and signed, and definitely the best decision I've ever made footballing wise. But like I said earlier, Ellie, it was when I first arrived at that club, I just knew Chelsea was right for me. I loved everything about it. I loved the atmosphere. And I love the fact we were underdogs as well. Back then when I signed... It
wasn't the club that it is now.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. And I quite liked kind of everyone against us and writing us off and winning cups when we wasn't supposed to win them and stuff. But I look back at that as a big moment in my career, because as a young 14-year-old to stand up to my dad and say, "No, I'm signing," was big.
There must have been something so deep within that you knew that was exactly where you had to be to go against like your dad like that.
Yeah, it caused absolute murders in the family, I have to say. But
especially when your mum then signed it.
I know, yeah.
What was that like?
The journey home was very interesting, let's say. But just the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah, I think all Chelsea fans would agree with that. Well, let's sit down, eat this, see what it's all about, and talk about life post-Chelsea.
Perfect.
Before a game, I feel this is exactly what you need, but wouldn't you like go-to meal?
Yeah, well, you were like, there's no greens or...
Not a single green inside here.
I would have greens on a match day though. So pre-match I would get, broccoli and a few other bits. A few other bits, that's it, yeah. No, maybe like a rocket salad or something before.
We talked a lot about you and your football, but what does a day in the life of John Terry post-football look like? Eating cold pasta.
Yeah, it's not cold, it's not cold. A day in the life for me, so I'm working as a kind of consultant for the academy. I'm working with the 18s and 21s, so I'm there a couple of days a week. Other than that, outside of that, it's been really important for me to find something to kind of replace football. And golf's definitely done that, so golf's been big for me. I love it. I love kind of dropping the kids to school, going to hit some balls on the range or playing with some friends. A few drinks after. You've been to a couple of those drinks and...
Yeah, they are. You've said quite a few times not a big drinker, but they are quite drinking occasions.
They are. Well, they can turn into them as well. Especially if you played well. If you played well, one bottle opens and then another bottle.
10, next thing you know.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, so a lot of golf. And what about in terms of like the academy? Obviously, that's what you've been doing recently. What's that like? I
love it, actually. I really enjoy working with the boys. I think it's important for me. I think because I've walked in their shoes as well, it's easy to have those conversations with them. So I've kind of stepped away from the coaching. I often get involved and put my boots on and kind of join in training. And I feel, as like a young coach, I feel when you're involved in the sessions, you can get a little bit more detail in them. And when you're experienced on the pitch, on a daily basis, you can have kind of separate conversations. So I enjoy that side of it. Keeps me fit and keeps me kind of able to get involved as well, which I enjoy. And I still get the same buzz when I drive in the training ground. Now, it sounds funny, I've been retired 6 years, but I get the same buzz now as I did when I was captain.
Yeah, well, question on that. When you go into Cobham, do you turn left or do you turn right still?
I have to turn left. I'm academy side now, so first team's that way, and sometimes I'm like that, and I have to go here. But
oh, that must be a bit of a dagger to the heart.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Mate, John, you're on the gravel today.
It's worse when you get there in security like that. Sorry, mate.
Who's that? Sorry, can I take your name?
It's not that bad.
One question I wanted to ask, because I've not been asking a million already. Have you ever Googled yourself?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah? What's the most funniest thing that's come up when you Google yourself? That you're just like, what on earth?
There was a boy dressed up like a girl who actually really looked like me. When I was at Villa, they kept sending it to me in the groups and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the most bizarre thing I think I've seen. But you know, when you look at it thinking, he or she actually really looks like me, so.
Was it the girl that looked like you, like as a girl?
Yeah, it was the girl, yeah, which was even more worrying. Google it later, have a look.
Oh God. Well, I'm going to do a quick Google now and see what comes up.
I probably recently Googled myself after the Pro-Am at Wentworth,
you?
yeah. Looking for pictures of me on the golf course.
Well, it brings up your Instagram as well and your Twitter, which is 3 a.m. I'm up and excited for the Pro-Am at Wentworth.
And nervous.
What was it like?
I was petrified. Like, I've played the last 3 years, and just being in front of people out of your comfort zone is honestly the most intimidating thing ever. It's the most nervous I've ever been, like ever, in any sport environment.
Really?
And people are like, but you can't be, you're playing in front of hundreds of thousands of people, but you're just so worried that you're going to top it off the first tee and everyone's there, and then it's like memes and everything else. And
stepping onto that first tee, like what is that feeling like, and what made you like get into golf in the first place? Because it is speaking from experience, hell sometimes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the toughest sport by a long way. But I played when I was like 15. Then when I joined Chelsea, like Franco used to play, Kevin Hitchcock, so they used to take me out and play with them a little bit. And I think as a footballer, it's a good way to get just away from all the hustle and bustle of like cameras and the training pitch and the pressures and all of that, to go and walk 18 holes where you got no one kind of asking you anything, or you know, you're just out there with your friends, is a really good place to be. And also probably more so in today's game, but the mental health side of it, where you just get away from all the nonsense, really.
Do you think that's why a lot of footballers do play as well, because of the mental health side of it?
No, but I think there will be elements within it that they probably don't realise they're getting, you know, just to go and walk 18 hours, 4 hours away from, like I say, the pressures now on the players are incredible, and I'm actually thankful I'm not playing. It was tough enough in my day, the pressures, but I think what these boys go through, like one bad game, and you look at Harry Maguire and the pressure and the stick he's getting is disgusting. And like I say, I played my best football when I had Mourinho and the fans are cheering my name. When you've got people believing in you and trusting you, that's when you get the best out of you. So fans and supporters really need to get behind, especially their own players as well.
People don't realise how much of an impact their like one rough comment can be on someone.
I probably look back when I played, we probably wouldn't have even been having this conversation about mental health. It would have been like, no, I'm okay. I've struggled since I've retired. I've missed playing. I've missed that buzz of performing in front of people and performing at Stamford Bridge. And golf's been a great one for me to kind of go and socialise again, get around good environments and good people, and obviously get that little bit of competitiveness as well.
Well, you definitely do that, and I know that you do a little bit of betting as well. You put it on your story every now and then. Who is the best current footballer that you've played against? And I have a feeling it's not Harry Kane. I'm pretty sure I saw a picture of him handing over 50 quid to you at one point. Is that right?
We did. I took on him and Eric Dyer at Wentworth. I managed to beat him, but it was bigger than golf. Anyone knows Chelsea and Spurs history. It was bigger than that.
It meant
a lot more, and they were actually devastated. But I managed to get a picture and put it on social, which is good.
Yeah, I saw that. So who is the best current player at golf?
I would have to say Harry. And considering when you're playing, you can't practice as much as you'd like. He's a very good player. Hits it an absolute mile. When he retires, he'll be like a +2 or +3, I reckon, when he's playing a little bit more regularly.
Okay, if you could have any four ball, your dream four ball ever, not the usual suspects, because I know you play with like the likes of Peter Jones and that, but aside from them, dream four ball, who would be in it?
Very good question. Tiger Woods obviously is the ultimate. Rory McIlroy.
Okay, so yeah, going for golfers then.
I want a good game of golf. I don't want no hackers with me on the golf course. This is like, this is serious golf, this.
Think about that, you've got 4 hours to spend with anyone in the world I'm giving you here. Well, more if they're not great, but you've got obviously 2 of the world's greatest golfers.
I will divert a little bit. I will then say Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Loves his golf, loves a cigar, loves his red wine.
Have you met him?
No, I haven't actually, no.
Wow, so bucket list meet as well.
Bucket list, definitely, yeah. Well, I had a bucket list recently. I met Tiger. which was pretty special. I was so nervous.
Really? So
Yeah.
you say that's the most starstruck you've
Oh,
ever been?
by a long, long way.
Crazy.
Like initially my friend got a picture on my phone for me. There was a photographer there, but I had a picture and I was looking away and I was like, excuse me, can I get another one? It was so bad. He must have thought, who is that?
No,
And then the
you
lady
didn't.
was like, he used to play for Chelsea, and then we were fine.
Did he know that you used to play for Chelsea?
No, not initially, no, he didn't have a clue.
3 things that you can do before you die. Sorry, so morbid. Okay,
Oh,
3
yeah.
bucket list things. What would they be?
Top of the list, play Augusta.
Okay.
Actually, let's reverse that. Number 1, be Chelsea manager.
Okay.
Would be top by a long way,
Is
actually.
that still in sights, do you think?
Yeah, I don't think so.
But that would have been the
That
top
would have
one.
been the top one, yeah.
You never know.
I've done all my badges. I'm ready to go. So if ever I'm needed, I'm available.
Yeah, thanks, Todd.
Yeah. Moving on. Play Augusta. Probably the 3rd one. Nothing too specific, but just kind of be fit and healthy and see my kids grow up and see them lead a nice life.
Very wholesome one. Okay, next one. What is one thing that you've spent a lot of money on and regretted?
I remember a night out a long, long time ago. I think it was maybe my 22nd or 23rd birthday. I was quite drunk at the time. And the guy, the owner of the club, come out and was like, do you want some champagne? I was like, yeah, of course. And all this champagne come out, and then at the end of the night, he'd give me a bill. And it just sobered me up instantly. And I was like, well, I didn't agree to this.
Can you tell me what it was?
I think it was Cristal champagne. And it was like $7,000 for this. And it was, I still think about it now. And it was like, I think at the time I was on like £1,500 a week. I think I paid it in 2 installments, I think. That's obviously a regret. You do things, you learn from stuff and you kind of move on, but that's definitely up there.
When people think of John Terry and they can think one thing about you, what do you want them to remember?
I think I'd probably just reach out to the Chelsea fans and say, you know, if I died, it'll be JT loved him, gave everything for the football club, and met him. He was a nice, humble guy. For me, that would be everything. That would be life completed. Supporters probably outside of Chelsea. I'm not sure I get that. But I'd like to think over the time I'd spent at Chelsea, both on the pitch and off the pitch, I've given everything for the football club. And I think even kind of 6 years on, I've retired, I still get a fantastic reception when I'm with the supporters and in and around the club. So I really hope that continues because it means a lot to me. And I give everything. So I hope they appreciate that.
So as long as the Chelsea fans just know exactly what you were really like,
Yeah,
you'll be happy.
that's all that matters to me, yeah.